begin tonight with a story about a man who's almost told them all, Joe Pascucci. After 32 years reporting and anchoring with Global, the veteran sports journalist will say goodbye to our news team at the end of June. Family is calling, and so Pascucci plans to spend more time with them. But before he does, we thought we'd give a little of our time to his illustrious career and hairdos.
You know, 24 hours later, and it's still hard to find something good to say about the Jets' 10-3 beating.
He's been in front of a camera at least 7,000 times. But for Joe Pascucci, the thrill never gets old. Neither did the stories.
You would go on strike with the players?
You know, I'm not going to comment exactly on that. You know, none of that's come out yet.
There's a CFL labor dispute to cover, and when it's resolved, a new quarterback at the helm of a team that's looking to improve on a dismal 2013.
If the Blue Bombers can win 7 games this year, I think fans, that'll be a good first step for the new regime.
And Willie says he supports his fellow players.
Pascucci has spent a lot of time talking football during his 3+ decades at Global. The Bombers' first home game of this season will also be the last one he covers for the station.
I have 3 children, one grown up, being my daughter Catherine, and I have 2 young boys, Joseph and Nicholas, age 11 and 9. And I want to spend more time with my family, and I'm able to. I don't have to work full-time now, as I did before when I had Catherine, and I missed a lot of her growing up. And I've found that I'm missing a lot of my boys growing up, and you know, it's getting pretty old when I drop them off at school in the morning and say, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
A life as a sports journalist involves a lot of late nights and weekends. Pascucci has hosted hockey shows, an international soccer show, and dozens of curling championships.
It's fun. I really don't think I've ever worked a day in my life, but you make sacrifices.
Manitoba tonight, first with sports.
Well, it didn't take General Manager John Ferguson very long to react to last night's game in Chicago.
Along with a few unfortunate choices, especially in the helmet department.
I loved having long hair, the afro. It's all natural, by the way.
All naturally curly,
all
right?
naturally curly. And I do remember Andy Arnott, the news director at the time, giving me money to go get a haircut.
Because he said enough was enough.
And then when I came back from the haircut, he told me to go back and get it cut again.
Instead, he put on a wig.
Joe Pascucci.
Sportsline was the most fun I've ever had, working with the likes of Gene Principe and Darren Millard and Corey Warren and Russ, Michelle, Lissel.
Pascucci's Angels.
I'm going to ask you another question, Joe.
No, I'm the one who's asking you a question.
Joe.
People love the Jets, and they love their Bombers, so we were able to, you know, give a lot of attention, a lot of focus, our coverage on those 2 teams.
Like a good sports team, chemistry in the studio is pretty important.
He always likes it when I scratch behind his ears.
All right.
What was that?
My class comedy.
So we both had the Italian hair going. Back then, I think I had more than Joe. I think still now I have a little bit more than Joe, but it was another one of those things that kind of helped bond us together.
He was creative, fellow Italian, so I understood him exactly. We're going to cheer, in fact, for every team in this tournament, every country.
Not. Oh, there we go.
Yes, this is the country that's going to win. And I'm the perfect straight man, right? He was the creative genius, the mad genius, but I always knew what the comeback line is.
He would kind of let me start, and then he would join in, and oftentimes, you know, finish with some great lines. That's the thing about Joe. He never really worried about who would get more attention. He was just more interested in the show getting attention.
Here are your assignments. Pascucci, soccer.
The philosophy was, if we can make you laugh, you were going to love us.
And they did, either laughing with the hosts or sometimes at them.
I'm going to make a comment on a tie. Hopefully that was a Father's Day gift. I understand why you do this. See, I can button it up at the top because I have that true V build, you have the U build, so I understand why you do that.
Blue Bomber Milt Stiegel, a regular interview subject and show stealer.
I'm taking Joe Pascucci's job.
That's it.
Pascucci, now a household name, even rhymable in rap songs.
I eat sushi with Joe Pascucci.
I think it's been almost 20 years since I started, working in Winnipeg. People still come up to me and say, hey, I remember you on Sportsline. You used to be with the Scooch, you and Joe Pascucci.
Even if the Scooch was first told, no one would ever be able to pronounce it.
When I got the job back in December of 1981, they said, well, one of the conditions is you're going to have to change your name. And at the time, that happens a lot in broadcasting. People change their names. So I knew it was going to come up at some point. So I had no problems changing my name. And they picked Joe Michaels as the name that they wanted me to be.
Is that your middle name?
It's my middle name. Joseph, Michael, James, Wilford, Pascucci.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
quite the handle.
It is.
Well, now joining us on Sportsline is Mayor Susan Thompson.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
But the name stuck, and so did the Toronto-born journalist's love of Winnipeg.
The original idea was not to stay here, 2-3 years and then move on. But I loved the job. I was doing so much. Every day was exciting. Then the people were just fantastic. I loved the communities. I didn't even mind the cold weather.
What will you miss most?
I will miss interacting with the people, the arguments, the fun kind of arguments that you have in newsrooms and in the sports department in particular. I love arguing with Russ. He never admits when he's wrong. That's the only thing. Even when he's wrong, he'll never admit he's wrong.
That's because I'm never wrong.
Still a few more weeks for Joe to try and get in the last word with Russ. For the viewers, he offers this.
We used to say on Sportsline, thank you for making us a part of your evening. And I'd like to thank everyone for allowing me to come into their homes these past 32 years. Mike Keane once told me, and it really hit me, that I wasn't media anymore, I was family. So I enjoy being part of your family.
Joe's last day with us is June 27th.